resource for hard-hitting home workouts and living the warrior lifestyle. Today, I want to show you 3 different workouts that you can do in order to build strength to finally get your first muscle up. So I'm going to show you a beginner workout, an intermediate workout, and an advanced workout. And what I want you to do for these workouts is to set a timer for 15 minutes. Just 15 minutes, okay? And go through the 2 exercises or 3 exercises I'm going to give you for each level and work those exercises out as much volume as you can for that 15 minutes. Now that doesn't mean go crazy, go back and forth until you're totally whooped and pumped. I don't want you guys feeling super fatigued or going after a crazy pump. What I want you to do is work on strength, fluidity, and skill as you go through these movements, okay? So start with the beginner level. If you're watching the beginner level and you're like, oh, this is way too dang easy, these 2 exercises, I'm going to go on and do something else, then go on to the intermediate level. And if you're watching the intermediate level and you're like, hey, this is too easy, I'm way closer to my muscle up, then go on to the advanced level exercises. And once you practice those advanced level exercises, you should eventually be able to use that strength to go in and do your first real strict muscle up. So watch the beginner, intermediate, and advanced video, choose which one you're going to do, set a timer for 15 minutes, and I don't care whether it's 5 reps or 3 reps or 10 reps you're getting in each exercise, make sure the thing you're focusing on right now is quality. Think about every movement you do today in your warrior workout as a skill. And if you do that, the skill will build, and as the skill builds, your body will move better, you'll become stronger, and everything else will come from that. So, watch one of these videos, decide which one you're going to do, set a timer for 15 minutes, and work on those 2 skills for that 15-minute time period. If you really want to get your muscle up, work on those 2 skills 2 to 3 times a week until you master them, and then work on the advanced skills 2 to 3 times a week until you master those, and that will eventually lead you up to getting your first real strict muscle up. Alright, check out the programs here, and good luck towards getting your first muscle up. For the beginner muscle up program, work on the following 2 exercises. The first is going to be a false grip ring row. So before we get started, it's important that I show you guys what I mean by false grip. So when people typically grab onto a pull-up bar, their wrist and their palm is underneath the ring or the pull-up bar. To make sure that we can get over the top, right, we need to make sure we're in what's called false grip, where the back of our hand is facing the ceiling. Imagine me trying to do a muscle up with my wrist underneath. I'd get to here, and I wouldn't be able to get over the top unless I could wrist curl my entire body weight. So the false grip is one of the most crucial components of learning your muscle up. It's very important that you learn this first. So, all the way to the edge of your hand on the side of your pinky, goes down, and then your thumb comes around, and you really try to maintain this really tight-in grip like that. So the first exercise you're going to do for between 5 and 10 reps, working on that technique, working on maintaining that false grip, is just good old-fashioned horizontal body rows. So this is what it's going to look like. You're going to need your rings at hip height, and you're going to need to find your false grip. From there, come back, place your feet on the ground, get that false grip, and you're going to try to pull your hands into your shoulders with your shoulder blades pulled back the whole time. I don't want to see at the bottom your shoulder blades to come forward like this, like I have right here. I want them to stay back inside the socket so you can strengthen the scapula muscles, which will be very important in the future when working on getting your first strict muscle up. So, all you're doing is keeping that false grip, pulling up, coming to full extension, pulling up, coming to full extension, and working that range of motion right there. That's the first exercise. Let's take a look at the next exercise. For the second exercise in the beginner muscle up strength workout, what you need to do is have your rings at a much lower height. And you can float them right above the ground if they can go that far. But the idea is to have your body in a push-up position over the rings. This way you can build that support strength, the pec strength, the lat strength that it takes to get into that top support position during the muscle up. So, I'm going to use a box back behind me to simulate this push-up position. And what you're going to do is you're going to do the same thing that you do on the dips, which is full range of motion coming all the way down to the shoulders and then pressing back up, trying to keep your core tight, your chest tight, everything tight. This is one of my favorite chest exercises as well. So, grab onto the rings, put your feet up on a box or have them low enough to the ground so that it's a challenging push-up already. Keep everything tight, come down as deep as you can, don't stop halfway, hands all the way to shoulders, press up in one solid piece. The whole time you got to think about too is on the rings, they're going to want to shoot out like that as you're holding onto them in this position. So always try to think about keeping everything tight like you're trying to squeeze your chest together at the same time. A good rep range to shoot for is between 5 and 10 full range reps in addition to your 5 or 10 false grip bodyweight rows. Practice those two exercises, get good strength at them, and then move on to the intermediate exercises that will help you build the strength necessary to get your first strict muscle up. All right, we're on to the strength portion of the intermediate level. Here's what you need to work on in order to build the requisite strength to be able to get your first strict muscle up. There are two exercises you absolutely need to master. The first is what's called false grip chins. Now, we went over false grip in the last section because this is one of the most important things you can have while learning your muscle up, is really getting so your hand, the back of your hand, is actually parallel with the ceiling above you. If your hand slips down like this, it's time to stop the set and re-grip because you're not strengthening your wrist, you're not strengthening the technique it's going to take to get your muscle up. So, the first exercise, false grip pull-ups, okay? So you're going to stay in that really tight false grip position, and what you're going to do is come down to a full elbow lockout, and you're going to try to rotate your hands out while keeping the false grip, and then rotate your hands back in and pull, keeping that false grip. A good rep range to shoot for is somewhere between 3 and 5 reps, again making sure you keep that false grip the whole time. So here's what your false grip chins look like. So grab on real tight, the backs of your hands are facing the ceiling, you're not going to let your hands slip out of the false grip, and you're going to come down, rotate your hands out, pull up. Come down, rotate your hands out, pull up. And again, really focus on that strict range of motion, trying to bring your hands, your thumbs, all the way down below your shoulders or as deep as you possibly can, because that's going to prepare you for the advanced strength exercise you're going to do, which is very similar to the false grip pull-up. Now, the other exercise you need to learn in order to get awesome strength to do the muscle up is the ring dip. Oftentimes I hear people say I can do 30 ring dips or parallel bar dips or whatever. Ring dips are extremely challenging, especially if you do them correctly. So here's the correct way to do them so that you can prepare yourself to be able to do the muscle up. You have to go full range of motion on them. Let me get my box over here so I can show you what I'm talking about. Get yourself in the false grip, and we're going to get ourselves into the bottom position of the ring dip. So it's going to look like this. I'm going to jump up and just get there tight. From here, everything stays tight, and we stay as low as possible. And then we press up, we lock out, we hold the support, we come back down. We don't stop here, where most people stop. We come down until we feel our knuckles almost on our shoulders, and then press up again. Come back down as deep as you can, and repeat. Again, a set of 3 to 5 reps is a really good place to shoot for. But the most important part on your ring dip is that you're getting that super full range of motion. Now I want to show you guys a way you can progress in the ring dip if you can't do full range of motion just yet. So here's what that's going to look like. If you don't quite have the strength to do the ring dip, you can progress in 2 ways. One is to start with the rings about waistband height and just do small reps from there, tapping your toes to the ground in between. And each week, just lift the rings up a few inches until you finally get to the point where you're in that full range of motion. If you have a fixed pair of rings, or since we're shooting a video, and you have some steps, you can always put some steps underneath your fixed pair of rings, and you can work your range of motion from there. So here's what that's going to look like. You're underneath it like this. I'm in about 50% range of motion. I come up on my tippy toes, and all I do is press up, come back down, kiss my toes, press up, and I work my dips in a smaller range of motion. From there, instead of adding a bunch of reps, if you can do 3 or 5 reps with that range of motion, take a step off and go deeper. Repeat, take a step off and go deeper. All right? So, your 2 exercises for the intermediate level to build strength of the muscle up: false grip chin-ups, where we come down, rotate the hand out, come up as high as we can, and ring dips, where we're focusing really on that extreme full range of motion. Master these 2 exercises and they'll prepare you for the advanced exercises as well as getting your first strict muscle up. Okay, let's start out with strength for the advanced portion of how to do a muscle up. Okay, so what I did is I put a box underneath the rings. If you guys have a set of rings at home, you can always lower them to the right height. What I want you to work on is getting those rings to about shoulder height right here. We're going to work what's called a jump through and then press to support. So this is going to help you get that transition of getting from a high pull-up up to a super low dip. And that's the most challenging part of a muscle up, is getting through the transition. So a couple things to think about as you do this. One is, as you jump through, you want to get everything tight as soon as you get into that support position. If you loosen up one thing, your pec, your lat, your arm can go shooting out to the side, it can go shooting behind you. So make sure we really work on getting tight in that lower supported position right there. And number two is we want to make sure that we keep our false grip the entire time. I'm going to hammer that into your heads as we go through this. So keep the false grip, jump through, everything goes tight as we come through like that. So here's what it looks like. I'm going to jump through to a low support, press to a high support, and then come back down and do a super slow negative, trying to feel the way that transition feels, okay? It's also important to only do one rep at a time with this, because your elbows may not be accustomed to the amount of pressure they get when you're transitioning from that low support position down into a pull-up position. So here's what it looks like. About shoulder height right there, I'm going to get my false grip, pretending like I'm already at the top position of my super deep pull-up, and I'm going to jump through, lock it in tight, everything stays tight, press it up, lock it in tight, come back down, try to keep the false grip, and then try to bring the elbows down, as much control as you can. Alright? That was a lousy example of control, so I want you guys to work on even more control. The more control you can come down with, the more control you will eventually be able to come up with. So that's the first exercise, is working on a jump through, press up from a low support to a high support, and then slow as you possibly can, come down, really focusing on keeping that false grip when you come back down into the pull-up position. Now the second exercise is we want to work on what's called sternum pull-ups. We've already worked with the bar as how to do pull-ups where you're coming up to the side like that, and you're touching your nose and you're really pulling back to your lower chest. This time I want to work on it with the rings, where we're trying to basically keep our false grip and pull our thumbs in below our chest. So here's what that's going to look like. I'm going to scoot that out of the way. Again, false grip is the most important part here. We're going to start in a full hang position with our wrists turned out. This is going to help educate you for when you get to the point where you can do multiple muscle ups with a full lockout at the bottom. And from there, I'm going to do a pull up, and I'm going to try to bring my shoulder blade back and down at the same time as I'm pulling my arm in. That's very important, because at the top of the muscle up, we don't want to be with the bar or rings to our chin and our shoulder rotated forward and up. We want to use that scapular strength to pull the shoulder blade back and down. And that's the real key to getting a solid pull-up as well as getting an awesome muscle-up. So get your false grip, come down into a full hang position, and then pull up as deep as you can, trying to get your hands all the way underneath your chest, okay? So it's going to look like this. Come down, hands turn out, keep the false grip, pull up, try to get it as deep as you can, as deep into your chest as you can. Repeat reps like so. Try to do sets of 1 to 3 reps. I don't want you worrying about getting a set of 20 reps of this kind of pull-up. I want you to think about just getting your hands into your sternum as much as possible so you can strengthen these muscles here and prepare you to get deep into that transition when you move on to finally getting your first strict muscle-up. Okay, so work these two skills, the jump through to low support, press to high support, and then slow negative back down. And then work that sternum pull-up, where you're trying to pull yourself as high as you can. And you can circuit these together. It's an awesome way to get a good workout and a lot of muscle-up practice as well. All right, you guys, good luck on getting your first muscle-up. I hope you guys really work hard at this, because it's a very challenging skill. Stay dedicated, stay consistent, and stay injury-free as you're going through the process. All right, if you guys want more awesome, hard-hitting home workouts, click the link below or go to garagewarrior.com. Thanks for watching.